challenges faced by high-tech entrepreneurs. Okay, it's okay. I lay the background. The findings are based on responses of 48 entrepreneurs running high-tech firms less than 48 months, spread across 10 states. And these data were collected during November 2014 and February 2015. The industry sectors covered include ICT. 48% of the units belong to ICT sector. 19% were into food processing. 13% were engineering units, 8% healthcare units, and the remaining 12% included plastic, research, and chemicals. The distribution of units by initial investment shows that the majority of the units had an initial investment of less than 25 lakhs. Hardly 17% of the units were having investment exceeding 50 lakhs during the survey. I begin with the operational challenges. I very strictly believe and I am of the opinion that they are very important for growing, and the major operational challenges that emerged out of the study are listed here. The first and the foremost challenge is issues related to skilled manpower. Almost 30% of the respondents have reported this as a major barrier to their operations. The second most important factor is space and infrastructure related constraints. And the third important factor is getting payment on time, which badly affects their cash flows. The other two factors are regulatory issues and marketing, raw material availability, and other issues I have clubbed into a category called others. But I'm very happy to share that 33% of the respondents said they have no operational problems. They have no operational problems. They are running smoothly. Going to the marketing problem, the three major marketing problems faced by high-tech firms are high cost of entering new markets. This is 66% of the respondents have given this response. Regulatory requirement and domination of established players have equal number of responses, that is 29%. Of the total firms that were included in the study, almost one-third of the firms were involved in exporting, and the problems faced by these firms in exports are, number one, the most important problem is logistic issues. They have issues related to logistics while exporting their products. The second most important factor is marketing and branding their products, and this is followed by two procedural problems, the first one being our governmental procedures and the second one being the rules and regulations prevailing in different countries. To begin with, what were the top three growth challenges that were addressed by the high-tech firms in the recent past? We asked this, we probed this, and the top three challenges that these enterprises had to address are product innovation, cost containment, and making customers happy. These were their major challenges for growing in the recent past. This question was only asked to people who were into business for more than 2 years. Two-thirds, almost 67% of the firms said they have plans, immediate growth plans, and their major hampering factors are inability of venture capitalists, banks in evaluating worth of our product. They feel that our products are not evaluated properly. Knowledge assets are not properly evaluated. The next important factor that influences growth adversely is lack of skilled workforce or talent acquisition, followed by regulatory issues as the third problem. Only 14%, a very small proportion of respondents say infrastructure and R&D are their issues. Having probed about future growth and what are the challenges in the coming times, the three important, because production and innovation has same percentage, it is appearing there. The top three challenges are obtaining finance, product innovation, improve supply chain management, and improve margins. These are the top challenges in times to come for the high-tech firms. Now, parallelly, in-depth interview of domain experts was also conducted, and we had sought their views on what are the growth constraints of high-tech startup. The responses of the domain experts show that the three major problems for growth of high-tech firms are lack of funding, which is very whoppingly high, 92% response, followed by managerial deficits of entrepreneurs not compensated by hiring appropriate professionals. They don't hire appropriate professionals in right time. They keep on pulling, and that's why they don't get into the right growth trajectory. That is one response. And the last, among the three responses is it is very difficult to acquire and retain talent in these startups. To conclude, it would not be out of place to present that the responses given by these entrepreneurs on a question probing what are the three recommendations for large-scale emergence of startups in India. The major recommendations that have emerged are, number one, relaxation in rules for funding startups. Number two, government or banks should revise their appraisal criteria and accept knowledge as an asset. And finally, there is a need for a better industry-academia linkage to address problems faced by firms. So these are the major views that have emerged from our study. Thank you.
To take, is there a consensus view that maybe Dr. Arora, would you like to run through the first?
I have tried to, bullet it, but then order can vary, and then the first one, which I think was that CSR, corporate social responsibility funds to be routed for startups. Of course.
Via the incubator or independent stage?
No, fund means large companies can, help them in startups, maybe at a various stages from idea, or that has to be then seen. But then how it has to be, that we have not debated. This was one such observation which was coming, and we can frame it in a better perspective. But then if you all agree that this is one, where it can be utilized, Okay. Then, of course, utilizing and strengthening the existing institutions such as NRDC in taking forward this initiative. What I mean to say is there are a lot of institutes or infrastructure already available in terms of support services rendered by agencies like NRDC, or it could be labs, probably wherever we were thinking of, when I attended that implementation of this Atal mission when they were announcing, and then Setu, they were saying that they will have an independent body or something. At that point of time, NRDC chairman, CMD himself was there, and he also raised it. And here also we were looking at, when the Dr. Rao made a point that the product, he was telling proof of concept, kind of a thing, to be given a grant and not venture funds. So, and they require high quality infrastructure for product startup. So I think this could be another recommendations which needs to be combined and put in a frame,
It's already happening. It's already happening. If you look at Department of Biotechnology, the initial seed funding, which is 50 lakhs, is a big that I reviewed. It's all grant. There is no collateral, there is nothing. It's just purely grant.
No, it is happening, but it has to be widespread. It has to be manifold, Yeah.
It's kind of happening.
Yeah, we can just frame it in a better wording, but I am just going what I could record, over when the presentations. One was on mentorship, but then which stages and how it will inculcate, one has to record. So I may be repetitive also during this. And another coming from Mr. Mahesh, a lot of things on mentors, bank, and startup market network, or something to do with the startup cities. Of course, these are the things, but then maybe soft bank for startups or a dedicated fund, what he means, instead of saying soft bank or dedicated funds or a mentors bank. And this is one such, I am pointing it out. Then proof of concept, I already told. And then there was a recommendation that manifold of prism, like which talks about individual or grassroots innovators, has to be done at the college level itself. They were telling me that Professor Rao was telling that at the college level itself, if you allocate some money so that the proof of concept, college level in the sense that undergraduate level or a PG level, if that kind of a university level, if you have some money, allocation done there itself. So ideas and all those things could be scouted from there itself. So that was a kind of a thing, and then the idea is there, then the proof of concept, start germinating from there itself. So that was the idea. And technical mentors to connect, see Kerala startup policy, like how they have mentioned the startup policy, then technical mentors. Then another was on proof of concept with the manufacturing, with the manufacturer unit on a PPP mode at the government labs or the private lab could also be, formed. Of course, there as we were discussing, these again bullets could be put under the one for the startups or another one for the government or whatever, and like there was also impanelment of lawyers for patenting, as we were discussing, with Mr. Kiran. So that is another well thought of point to be taken. Then I don't know, expired patents for startups or SMEs to be taken for conversion into products, but this is their decision, but we can be facilitative, this could be a facilitative decision, or this is a pointer for the SMEs, to look forward to opportunities for SMEs, some
more in terms of educating them.
yes. So this is one. Then Mr. Pradosh said rejigging the DICs, and empower them for regional development. Of course, this can go in harmony with those. We're talking about rejigging the NRDC to work on that mode, and rejigging the DICs, revamping them, and how they can be made, effective for the startup and other issues related to technology or idea to, market. Different chain segment of that innovation, how they can be made more effective, both at the regional and at the national level, and so that could be one, measures. And there was something on risk capital structure. In fact, they were talking that this should be for a longer period, and they should be tax free, as you were saying, one such recommendation, similar to what they need not have to divert and go to the Mauritius kind of a framework.
Indian structure.
Yeah, Indian structure. And then needs to go away with the collateral business, as we have seen the earlier speaker also had some kind of a problem, and then collateral is, becomes a binding, and then that leading to some kind of unwanted, stuff in the end. So that collateral business, how we can avoid and have a EM, so that.
For startups, so they automatically not ask for that.
Like you were talking about the can bank fund, on the same line, the DIT model. Mm-hmm. And then there was one point which came for alternative funding, that public-private should be encouraged, should be engaged in funding since from the beginning, and not like in the Sibri or somewhere somebody was telling that they are, put not informed at the beginning, and then in between they are allowed, and as a result it creates ripples, and then they feel not like it creates mistrust, and the whole process goes in a different mode. So transparency in that, and then the joining the various stakeholders or a PPP is right from the initial stage itself of the. And then peer-to-peer lending, we were telling, and then There was, okay, peer-to-peer lending, and then mentoring about the market and other things. So these are the few things where we talk about mentoring. The mentoring could continue from the idea to the market stage, at different stages of the innovation chain, it could be said. And then peer-to-peer lending. So this is what I could record, so far. And then maybe few other observations, yeah. Yeah, those are there, but then...
Yeah, why don't you announce that whatever, 2 pages, they can just pen down their thoughts, whatever they presented here.
Okay.
I think 3 action steps from the board.
Or shall we say, one page you write what your presentation talks about, another is a set of recommendations. I think, no, not more than 2 pages, otherwise it will go and stretch into again.
You can keep it one page, because otherwise you will have too much to handle.
So 1 page, 2 page, and then
Yeah.
some transaction point. That would be very nice to.
So this is what I could, glean, but there may be some more slippages here, some...
I remember you had talked about the 5 points for the government. So I would be very
And then exploring international funds again could be. So then we agree that finally that, so what is the time frame? By tomorrow they should send you, because otherwise... Huh? Latest by the weekend. So then maximum 2 page, you can say 5 to 7 lines about the concept, and then what you feel should be done, And it could be 5 points, 6 points, whatever it is. So So today is Wednesday, by Friday or maximum by Saturday we should get it. So that Monday then we make it out, formally.
In any case, the reporters, they will in addition to that, if we get...
No, but what we'll do is we'll cross-check so we have not missed out, So of course, all these things are recorded. Of course, they can again extract as well.
Good evening. Very wonderful, productive, fruitful interaction all through the day. The credit goes to the Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Parveen Arora, and Administrative Staff College of India, Professor Nirmali Bagchi. Professor Bagchi requested me to propose the vote of thanks, and I'm delighted to perform So in the morning we had a wonderful inaugural function where the Director General of ASCII, Dr. Parveen Arora, and Mr. Jayesh Ranjan set the tone for the deliberations of the day. Pretty interesting. In fact, Jayesh Ranjan made it clear why the government is so proactive. In fact, when we had interviews here last couple of days and the last month, we were repeatedly told that repeatedly identified by each interviewer that government is pretty proactive, and that is why the ecosystem in Hyderabad is pretty vibrant for high-tech startups. So that has been repeatedly said, and Mr. Jayesh Ranjan gave a clear overview of the policy support that has been extended by his government. So we would like to place it on record our deep appreciation and gratitude to Sri Ravikant, Dr. Parveen Arora, and Sri Jayesh Ranjan for their interesting presentations in the inaugural function. Subsequently, we had 4 different sessions. In the first session, Dr. Anita Gupta of the DST, Mr. Mahesh Krovidi, CEO, NDBI, NID, and Dr. A.S. Rao, former director of DSIR, former advisor of DSIR. They made presentations on various aspects of the support systems, particularly with reference to technology business incubation. Of course, Dr. Rao emphasized on the importance of proof of concept grants, which is a welcome, I think, proposal made. So I would like to thank Dr. Anita Gupta, Mr. Mahesh Krovidi, and Dr. A.S. Rao. In the subsequent session, Mr. Kiran Bettadapur threw light on the IPR issues. Dr. Pradosh Nath made reference to the concerns and the way ahead from the STI perspective. And Mr. Anuj focused more on the evolution of incubation. We are thankful to all of them. In the first post-lunch session, Mr. Aditya Kapil, Mr. P.R. Basak, Mr. Sampath Iyengar made presentations on various issues relating to financial and legal aspects. And Professor Mohan actually completed the program, completed the session. We are grateful to all the 4 experts. And in the final session, Mr. Kaushik Gala, Mr. Vishal Gandhi, Sri Narayana Pisapati, and Mr. Jignasu Yagnik. They made presentations focusing on science-driven startups. Grateful to each one of them. But the presentation made by Narayana Pisapati in fact disturbed me, the kind of difficulties that he has undergone and the situation in which he is in. I feel all of you would agree that we should wish him all the best to come out of this kind of a difficult situation, and innovation should prosper in our country. Now, having said that, this event wouldn't have been possible without the support from the Department of Science and Technology. So I would like to place it on record, our gratefulness, our thankfulness to the Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Parveen Arora particularly, and Professor